Good afternoon. Here we are in the shop. I'm going to show you guys how to use this fine Corghi tire machine right here. It's a great machine. It's only a few years old, and as you can see, it's got lots of dirt and crud on it that gets used all the time. Great machine. It's a good middle-of-the-road tire machine. This baby was about $4,500, if I recall properly. You can get one down in the $1,500 range. Oh, you don't want those junkers. And of course, there's ones that range up into the $10,000 plus. And that's a great machine, but a little excessive for what we have here. So what we're going to do is learn how to use the machine. Now, a couple of things you got to do ahead of time. First, if you got any loose hanging stuff like this, put it in your pocket or put it over on the workbench. In fact, I'm going to put it over there on the workbench. And it's got a watch, rings, that sort of stuff. Good idea to take it off. Also, put your safety glasses on. They might make you look like a goof, but you look real foolish if you got some stuff in your eye. When you use shop equipment like this, always want to put on safety glasses. All right, let's see how this thing works. The first order of business is to let the air out of the tire. So we use a tool like this here. It's got a big end for big valves, small end for regular size ones like we have in our average car and truck. And we're just going to practice this old steel rim and tire today. This is off my old '84 Chevy truck. This is a good one to practice on. So we'll stick this in here and we'll loosen it up and let the air out. I don't think there's much air in this tire. Oh no, I was wrong. Plenty. Did you see how that little trailer valve shot out of there? Well, if that thing would have flown over here, it could have hit me in the face. But I got my safety glasses on, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, after I remove the air, I need to take off any old wheel weights that might be around on the tire. Now, this is a wheel weight hammer. This side we use to put the wheel weights on, which I'll show you a little later. This side here is what we use to take the weights off. It's got a little hook on one side and a flat piece on the other. Works pretty good. We put our wheel weight, put it in there, take it right off. That one wasn't particularly hard to get out. So let's turn our tire around and look for one on the other side. Ah, there it is there. Let's take that one out. All right, looks good. The next step in the process is breaking the bead. Now what we need to do is put the tire right here, move this part in, line the bead breaker right up next to the rim, not on the rim, and on the tire right next to it. Then we're going to push the pedal down all the way to our right, and we're going to let it go its full travel. We release. As you can see, the bead is broken from the rim. We'll turn it around. Do the same on the opposite side. Alright, take a look at what we have. It didn't break all the way. That happens sometimes. So we just turn it around and do it again. See? Perfect. The next step is we have to lock the tire in place. Now, take a look at the table here. This would be unlocked. Now, if we put a tire on that, these pieces will move out and lock onto the rim. And to release, you just hit the pedal again, and it works. So let's see it in action. Pick up the tire, set it on there, locked on, nice and centered. That's not going anywhere. The next step is to swing over this here, lock it down on the rim. Now if we've got a nice fancy chrome rim or a highly polished aluminum, something of that nature, we do have a protector that goes on here to help keep it from getting torn up. So when this is locked in place tight against here, we want to lock that down. We're going to get out our pry bar here. And what we're going to do, we're going to take the pry bar, we're going to put it in here, and we're going to pull it up over the rim. Now this is the tricky part, and a lot of people get stuck right here. So we're going to go over that again with the close-up. Now you might say, what do we need a close-up of that for? That looked pretty easy. Well, a couple of things. First, you need to notice the hook is a little bit different on each side of the pry bar. Also, it only faces a certain way. The other thing, take a notice here. There's a nub right here. We need to lift up over that nub. There's a flat spot right here. That's where we need to pry against. So when we put in the pry, we're going to go right here, right on that. Not over here. Not over here. It's not going to work. It's got to go right here. You push the bottom end underneath the tire. We get it. We stand back over here. And we pull it up and over. Now we move on to the next step. Now I'm going to begin rotating by pushing the pedal to the left. While I'm rotating, I'm going to pull the pry bar out. The tire is going to come up. Now here's the trickiest part of the whole operation. A lot of people have trouble here. We need to put the tire up like this. Now we got to get the bottom part of the tire up over that nub. So I'm going to put my pry bar in there again. I'm going to put it right against that spot where I showed you before. You're going to lift up on the bottom of the tire with your hand while pulling this. Alright, there you go. Bottom of the tire is lifted up over the nub. We're going to rotate. Pull the pry bar out. Rotate. Tire comes off the rim. There you go. Alright, next step's pretty easy. I want to make sure my rim is clean of any rust, corrosion, debris, and that sort of thing. So I would go ahead and clean it off. This one's in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to do anything on this one. But if yours is disgusting, you want to check it out. Okay, we're just going to put this old used tire back on. One thing you got to remember, some people like the white wall out, some people don't like the white wall out or white raised lettering or whatever you got, so make sure you put the tire on the right way. Some tires actually only fit on the rim a certain way as well, so it's important to pay attention, especially depending on what kind of tire that you have. Now we're going to get this soap here, the tire soap, and we're going to soap it up. Just the inner part here where the bead is. Soap it up real good. This is going to help it go on better. Alright. Look at that. No such thing as too much soap on this job. We're going to put the tire on white wall out. So how we're going to do it, we're going to angle it like this. And we're going to go ahead, this back here, lock it into place just like we did before. Make sure it's at this angle, just like this. And we're going to rotate, and we're going to turn the tire along with the rim. And there it goes. Bottom's on. Now you got to put the other side on. So we put it like this. And the idea is we're going to want to push down while it's going around in a circle and helping it along. We don't want to push over here or push over here. We want to be pushing over here. So watch. There it goes. Lock it. Swing it out of the way. Now it's time to put air in this baby. Now we have to seat the bead. That means we're going to put the bead of the tire right around the edge of the rim. We're going to take the air hose, we're going to put it on here. We have to manipulate this little handle here. It's locked on. Now I want to grip the tire up kind of like this, pull it up a little bit, and there's a black pedal over here right by my foot. And it's got two positions. I want to bring it down into the second position. It's going to get noisy and you're going to hear a couple of loud pops when the tire seats. Ready? Okay, so only one of the pops was loud. But you did hear the two pops. After the bead's been seated, I want to remove the hose. Now the air is going to come out. Let the air come out, then put the valve back in the stem. After we're done seating the bead, we have to put the Schrader valve back in there. We don't seat the bead with the Schrader valve in it. That way we can get a large volume of air into the tire very quickly. So, go ahead, put the valve in. It only will fit one way, so it's pretty easy. Make sure it's tight. If you don't have it all the way tight, you can get a leak. Then we'll go ahead, put the air back on. And we're going to push that pedal down to its first position. And we're going to start putting air in the tire. How do we know how much air is in this tire? Well, we have this gauge here to tell us. And on the outside of the gauge, we have numbers that are in the metric way to measure tire pressure. And on the inside, here in the United States, we use the red numbers, pounds per square inch. So what we do is push the pedal down to its first level, and you can hear it pumping. If you notice, the gauge isn't moving. To get the gauge to move and to read, I have to take my foot off the pedal. And as you can see, we got about 18 pounds in there. So let's keep going. Okay, I have 30 pounds. Now, I wanted to put 32 in this tire, but I want to show you how we take air out if we do exceed the maximum pressure that we're supposed to put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this thing up to about 36. The bigger the tire, the longer it's going to take to put air in it. Okay. As you can see, I'm a little high, about 36. I wanted to put in 32. So I go and hit this little brass button right here, and it lets air out. And I take my finger off of it, and the gauge goes back to where it was. There we go, down to 32. Perfect. Our final step is to remove the tire from the machine. It's a pretty easy one too. Put your middle pedal down, tire unlocked, lift the tire up, wheel it on over to the car or truck you're going to put it on.